If I could find you now, things would get better. We could leave this town and run forever. I know somewhere, somehow, we'd be together. What's going on, Mr. Terence Ting? I'm the real Randy Chavez. How are you, brother?
I'm great, bro. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well on this fantastic evening. And you are, thank you. So you're currently in the Philippines, right?
I'm actually based over in Singapore.
Okay,
Um,
gotcha. Missed
yeah,
it.
that's fine. It's
Yeah, I
okay.
knew it was. It's like it's 1 in the afternoon on Friday, right?
It's actually
Or is
10
it
a.m. right now.
10 a.m.? 10 a.m. Okay, I'm messing up all over the place. So you are the co-founder of Uninterested Unicorns. How did you come up with the idea for that?
Um, yeah, I got into the NFT space like around March this year. Got into multiple projects. The first NFT that I invested in was the Bored Ape Yacht Club,
Oh, you
and
have one.
I had one.
Oh, okay.
I sold it to finance uninterested unicorns. So at the time when I sold my body, it was about, I think I sold it for 12.5 ETH, which
Okay.
obviously right now seems like a bit low considering the floor is like 50 today. But at that point of time, I think no regrets because I really wanted to start my own project and build a community of my own with uninterested unicorns. So I actually looked for team members that had similar vision, wanted to work on the project long term,
Mhm.
and had similar ideas around building a community, building a brand. Um, so the first person I met was Rinja. So Rinja is our lead artist. He's also the face of the project, and he was actually the one that came up with the name as well. So he's basically I would say like the anything to do with the concept of the NFT, the art comes mostly from him. I add on to his ideas and I try to make it better, but he is the kind of like the person behind the concept, I would say. So even the name also came from our artist team that was led by him. So UU as well, the brand, it was conceived by him.
Mhm.
For me, I came in mostly on the business side. I've run like multiple companies. Previously, I actually ran an esports team here in Asia. So I've been in the video gaming industry for a while. Yeah. So
Okay. What esports team was it? Was it Dota?
um, yeah, I mean, we did Dota, we did League of Legends, we did mobile games, we did pretty much everything, right? And I've been in esports for like 16 years before that. So since 2006, I first got into Dota 1 before Valve kind of like took over the rights and stuff, right?
Okay.
So yeah, it was interesting. It was an interesting journey, and I think that kind of also gave me an idea like, oh, how the NFT space would also develop. I see some similarities, especially with GameFi projects, play to earn games coming into the market recently. Axie is the big name, but I think
Yeah.
next year there'll be a lot of GameFi projects. Yeah.
So that long-term vision for you guys for the Uninterested Unicorns, is that going to be like a League of Legends or World of Warcraft? Is it going to be something like that?
I'll say that we have kind of like a vision for the game that stretches to becoming like I'd say like serving our community first, our core
Mhm.
community, like creating a game that actually our core community would want to play. At the same time, we also want to kind of see what we can kind of build with our partners. So like we have a pretty strong game studio partner that we're about to announce this quarter. And they've had a huge track record. They've developed tons of games here in Asia Pacific. So from what I see is that I think there'll be a lot of interesting stuff that we can do with the UU game. I don't think that like we're really necessarily looking to do like another League of Legends or Dota. So it's gonna be its own game,
Okay.
and yeah, it's gonna be up for our community. Yeah.
So are you thinking that you might have something along the lines of like something closed circuit like Worms? Or is it gonna be like a side scroller, like some like Yoshi story or Paper Mario? What type of game were you thinking to start?
Um, yeah, I'd say it'll be more of a casual play to earn game rather than a hardcore like PvP kind of game. Although we are looking into PvP mode, but I think what we're trying to do is create like a kind of like an enjoyable experience where people can kind of like immerse themselves in the world we're trying to create with you unicorns.
Yeah.
So the format that we have published is, we've publicly announced in our white paper, published 2 weeks ago, that we're doing tower defense. Um,
Yeah.
so tower defense is a format game genre that's kind of like popular. If you look at the history of the gaming industry, some of the more popular mobile games have been tower defense games. So we're looking at that as one of the key genres. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to play a bunch of those, especially back in school. Balloons. Have you played that one?
Yeah,
That's like the original.
we
Yeah.
did play it. We played it for market research. Yeah.
Oh, that's so. Yeah, that was one of my favorite things. Balloons is
Yeah.
really cool. I like tower defense, and I think that also we're typically, video games are mostly dominated by men. I feel like tower defense games are something that a lot more women can get into as well, just because it's not like a hardcore thing they could just set up. Is that something you've noticed, or am I completely off base there?
Yeah, if you look at our collection, we kind of wanted to cater to both sides of the demographics, so like male, female, young, and maybe a young adult audience, and maybe even an older audience as well, like above 40, right? So we want to create like enjoyable experience and try and like bring sub communities together,
Yeah.
right? And I think the female audience is definitely one that we're trying to bring to the NFT space. There have been some very interesting like female NFT projects like War of Women, that has done pretty well. I think we want to try and, with the brand image and the image of our NFTs, some of our unis are pretty cute as well. We've got our Gen 2 coming up later this month on the 27th of December. So those are pretty much, I'd say, like quite a different art style from the main collection, where we're trying to attract more of a female audience for sure.
Yeah, I saw your white paper. You have a pretty aggressive timeline for things that you want to do next year. Is that like best case scenario, or are you being conservative with it, or is like actually we expect it faster than that, but that's conservative, or is that like that's your best case scenario and it might be some things might be delayed, a couple months.
Yeah, we've given some time. We've also buffered some time in terms of like the roadmap. So we're pretty confident internally. We have had some delays before. I think one of the delays was due to like legal kind of like reviews.
Hmm.
Take a lot of time because we're working with a lot of external parties and stuff. But yeah, overall, I'd say that we have learned a lot in the space in the last 2 to 3 months. Definitely been very interesting launching our own project and learning through executing, which that's what I believe in. Like executing, and then there's definitely going to be some learning curve, right? Nobody in the space really knows everything,
Yeah.
and when it comes to things like, for example, like tokenomics, which is a huge topic in terms of like projects today, and that's one of the key areas where every project owner is trying to uh, seek advice from, including myself. We have spoken to a ton of advisors as well on this area, how to structure a strong tokenomics package for the community, for investors, for the long term, for sustainable growth, right?
Yeah.
So, been a very interesting journey for sure, and we are confident of our roadmap.
And you had what, like 285 million that could of those tokens that could ever be created, or was that to start?
Yeah, so for our Uni Candy token, we spend a lot of time on it. Our token supply right now that we've announced, that is going to be capped at 280 million tokens.
Okay.
So you look at the breakdown, a ton of it is going to the community. We wanted to incentivize community first. Yeah. And if you look at the team share, it's like team and advisors are getting 10% of UCD, right? So I think that's very reasonable compared to the average team share that's out there in the market. I think that's kind of like to give assurance that the team is definitely getting a share, but it's not so much of like
Yeah.
personal incentive. Yeah. So there have been cases before where I think teams dump on the community, without mentioning any specific names, but it has some examples. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that recently with Earth 2 had an issue with keeping some of their developers because they said, hey, as you're developing this game, and it was an open world metaverse saying that you as a developer cannot buy land on this game because you know where certain things are. So as long as you're working for us, you can't really do that. So luckily, they bought another company before, so they have more workers. But a couple of their developers said, like, listen, this game's going to be huge. I'm not missing out. So they had to deal with them as the day they left. They started buying a bunch of property on there. So yeah, you definitely need to make sure that the developers stay with you as well. Give them incentive. What is something that caused you to go with the Ethereum blockchain over something else? Were you expecting Ethereum 2.0 to be out by now, or just because most transactions are done on the Ethereum network?
I think the decision to go with Ethereum, the popularity of the chain, and the fact that most of the top NFT brands today are on Ethereum. So like if you look at just pure generative NFTs that came out this year, like the Body of Yacht Club, Cool Cats, all these projects, even CryptoPunks, which came out before, and one of the OGs, right? All of them are all on Ethereum. But Ethereum definitely isn't the best chain in terms of like scalable gaming projects. So if you look at gaming projects, a lot of them are going to using protocols like Immutable X, for example. I'm sure you're familiar with Immutable X.
Yeah. Akomi's on Immutable X, so it's a good time.
Yeah. So we also have been looking into solutions like that. I think at the start when we first launched the project, it was positioned more as a generative project. So we actually were looking more at putting it on Ethereum first. But I think right now we're looking at long term, how can we build more scalable layer 2 solutions. So like Polygon has been explored. We've looked at Immutable X, and I think we're going to be making an announcement on it very soon in the future as well on how we plan to manage this. Yeah.
All right. Very cool. And the amounts that you have, say outside of your own tokens, that you might have or the team might have, what else is the company invested in? Like, how are you guys generating money right now in leading up to everyone's launch and stuff?
I think with most NFT projects today, like after the public sale is done, most of them rely on the secondary market royalties to kind of like be sustainable. So for some projects that's enough, or sometimes they even make decent, really like quite decent profits as well, depending on how active the community is and how strong the sales volumes are. But I think for us, we in terms of our business model, it's quite similar. At the same time, I think we're planning to launch future collections under the UU brand as well. So like our Gen 2 unicorn, there will be a breeding process and then a mint process as well. So the mint is where probably we're doing also it in ETH. So we're also planning to make potentially some sales there. A lot of the marketing for the Gen 2 is going to go out in the next 2 weeks before breeding. But going all the way to the public mint. So public mint is around early February after the breeding ends on the 26th of Jan. Yeah. So
it's all very soon.
2 months.
Yeah. This is very soon. That's next month. That's very quick. And as you guys do that, as you guys get marketing, are you going to come out with a little more utility for them? Like, oh, hey, if you show me you have, 3 of my uninterested unicorns, you can go and get, 10% off on our merch, or you get 10% off on a certain club, that type of deal.
Interesting that you mentioned that. I mean, this weekend we're actually dropping our merch. And we have previously done like a community vote as well on how our members want our token utility to play a part in discounted prices. So we're actually going to be announcing discounts for holders of our UCD token based on tiers as well. So,
that's so cool.
Yeah. So we're going to give discounts of up to 40%, which is quite.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. How many? How of the breeding? How many of these can people make? Like, how many of them can they mint? How many can they breed? Like, if somebody wanted that their goal is to have like 100 or 1,000 of these, can they do that?
In terms of the Gen 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you could, depending on the demand, right? So if the mint is hyped up, and we're dropping, like, I'd say like when it comes to mint, we're expecting maybe 50% of the supply in this first breeding season to be taken up during the breed. So that's about 2.5K, and then another 2.5K for the mint in Feb. So 2.5K isn't huge. I think if our marketing goes according to plan, I think firstly, with our Gen 1, we sold out in 10 minutes, right? if you followed the progress of our project. Yeah, so I think we'll see decent attention to the Gen 2 as well.
Oh, that's great. So it sold out in 10 minutes. And how much do you guys typically grow each month? Like how many more people do you get going to the site? How like monthly active users have been increasing over the months?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I guess right now we have about 30,000 on Discord and 11,000 on Twitter. So we are actually currently like working on like running out some marketing campaigns. We've got a really really nice video that's coming out as well
Yeah.
for later this month, right before breeding. So I'll ask all the unis and everyone to keep an eye on the video. I really love the video. We've shown it to our whitelist partners. They all love it. We're
Yeah.
also going to be announcing new whitelist partners really soon for Gen 2. Some of the partners that we are working with are huge names as well in the space. Yeah, but I'll say that with marketing coming out, growth wise, we're looking at consistently, I think at least 10 to 20%, I'll say per month. And, and then going into the game launch, that's when we'll ramp up marketing as well next year, Q1 to Q2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we definitely gonna keep pushing. I also, one thing I've noticed about the NFT space is that growth is rarely like a linear graph.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like, sometimes it's like, okay, you go up a bit, and suddenly there's like huge spike. I was telling like some of my friends that they like, this is what I've noticed. Like some projects just suddenly like explode out of nowhere, and then there are the projects that kind of like keep growing over time and they are a bit quiet. They're building, they're still working every day, and members are coming in, new faces are coming in. Yeah, but definitely it's been very interesting to see um, how people market in this space. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're essentially you launched how many months ago?
We actually launched. We announced in August, and we
Okay.
launched our public sale in September.
So you're probably expecting. I know there's more on Discord than there is on Twitter. So about 30,000 on Discord. So would you expect a 5x by this time next year or 10x? What are you realistically looking at for numbers for next year, and how do you plan to scale? Hire more people and all that.
Sure. Um. Yeah. When you say 5x, do you mean like floor prices or
I mean, just
market?
the users, the user base.
Okay, user profile. I think yeah, we have set some targets in terms of user acquisition. Yeah, so I guess I would say like 5x would be like a good target from where we are now. I think that would be quite healthy by the time we hit the game.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I mean, 50,000 on Twitter from where we are now, and then Discord would be maybe 150K, which I think is decent as well for a launch time game.
yeah,
Uh,
really good.
yeah, and obviously with that growth means that we need to bring in more people as well on the team. I think right now we have a really good core team, and for us like expanding the team is definitely a priority, and hiring people on the team, but also like making sure that the current team, uh, they're all aligned with what we're doing and everything is working well. So yeah, I think engineering is definitely one area that we have looked at more. Yeah.
Did you expect this type of growth in August when you launched? Did you expect to hit, like at 11 to 30,000 people on certain platforms, or were you
Yeah.
expecting like, oh, maybe if I get a couple thousand, that might be cool?
Um, it's a hard question to answer because um, you believe in your project, right? You have to believe in your project
Yeah,
as the founder. But at the same time, making predictions about numbers, it's tough without any historic data.
yeah,
As a as an entrepreneur, I'd say that like if you have no basis, it's hard to kind of like base your numbers on anything, right? So, but I'll say that we are happy with the growth. What's more important is that we keep building and we keep seeing like new people join the community, which in turn translates to more healthy secondary market as well. Yeah.
yeah. So are you guys for the secondary market? Where do people? Obviously, for you guys, they just go straight to the website and everything. But the secondary market, do you have a marketplace, or is it on OpenSea or an eBay and wherever else?
Right now, we're mainly on OpenSea. Most of our sales is coming through OpenSea. So we've done about 3,600 ETH in secondary market sales
Okay.
on OpenSea in the last 2 months. And yeah, I guess long term, we've explored some ideas, definitely looking at the idea of a native marketplace as well, but that's not been confirmed. So, but we have like explored that within the team. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any other crypto that you would consider taking? Would you ever feel like, oh, well, if you want to play in Bitcoin or you want to play in OMI or Essence or whatever, you would take that? Or right now, is it just ETH?
Sorry, I didn't catch the middle part of what you said. Sorry, could you
Oh, yeah.
repeat?
Would you ever consider taking another crypto for payment outside of ETH? Would you take Bitcoin or OMI or something along those lines?
Yeah, I think right now we are mainly looking at ETH, and at the same time, I think besides ETH, our native utility token UCD, that's
Hmm.
probably the main token that we would want people to transact in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so UCD will probably be the main option for us in terms of making transactions on the ecosystem. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So tell me about the artists that creating these guys. Who's the mind and who's the creativity behind drawing and then creating all of these uninterested unicorns?
So the main artist is actually Rinja,
Hmm.
Ryan. So he's also from Singapore. He's currently living in France, but
Oh,
he was my main partner in terms of like who I kind of conceptualized the whole project and the brand with, like I said. So yeah, I think he did really well, and he came up with a concept that I think at the time was very refreshing. In a sea of like animal profile pic projects,
yeah.
I think he's also very adored by the community because everyone can see his work ethic, right? He's an artist that he's talented, but at the same time he works really hard, and honestly he's been very pleasant to work with as well on the project. So I think that there's a lot of I would say a lot of things to come in terms of the art side as well, even beyond the Gen 2, right? Because the Gen 2 is just like our upcoming project milestone that we are really aiming for in the next month. Yeah.
All right. So when you go about your work week between the meetings and between the design and between the marketing, how many hours are you putting in a week on this project?
So my entire day is spent on UU. Like I do have like one other project that I'm running, like called the Asian Mint, that I started before UU. It's also NFT related. It's an
Yeah.
NFT media and education community. So like we're also launching a website like probably in January. And besides the Asian Mint, yeah, UU is basically my full-time focus on a day-to-day basis. So I wake up, go to work, go to the office. We have meetings on UU, like from marketing to tech to just strategy, yeah, and growth meetings. So yeah, definitely, I think it's my full-time focus. I would say, and this is the space that I do see myself being in the NFT space long term. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other one, your other project that you're running, would there ever be any interoperability between both of them? Like saying, oh, hey, we could use these NFTs in the uninterested unicorns and vice versa?
Yeah, I think like for us, we are trying to plan long term, right? So we're trying to think of how can we connect things across our ecosystem, even for things that we want to launch in the future. So like UU is the first kind of like proof of concept that we're able to create something of value to the community. So like long term, if we launch like new brands, new projects, or other things that's NFT blockchain related, definitely we're going to be looking for ways to kind of like connect everything, whether it's through a central token. That idea has been explored as well. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if you ever played the game Robot Unicorn Attack. It was a app game, and you're smiling, so maybe there's a song that played. It's like always I wanna be with you. Have you ever thought about getting another song that's already been made for this, or are you guys creating the music for the game yourself?
Uh, right now, yeah, it's something that we have looked at in terms of engaging, even like, yeah, possibly like a singer or someone to write a song about the brand.
Yeah.
It's been explored as well. So, yeah, definitely something that we're looking at. I think it helps increase the brand value and brand affinity. Yeah.
So when you have when one of these like take off, whether it's the other project or the uninterested unicorns, and suddenly the bank account, you add another 0 or 2 zeros to that. Are there other projects that you have in mind that you want to do, or do you have other ideas for these existing projects? Which route are you going to go?
Yeah, I think for us, like Uninterested Unicorns is going to be our main focus for a while. And we want to make sure that we are able to provide value to the community that has kind of like believed in us, invested a lot. For example, we have Grim, right? Grim is our top unicorn holder. He's got 150 plus unicorns. So, I want to make sure that, we can do right by these people that have invested ton of like capital into the project and really believe in it. So that's my number one priority. And if we do launch new stuff in the future, we're going to see how we can provide value to the existing UU holders as well. Yeah.
So, as like an extra downloadable content, would you ever put in like indifferent llamas or like really like ponies or something like that, and have them like battle or have them as like, oh hey, and it's like Marvel vs. Capcom, tag these guys in, give them an extra boost? Would you do that in the future?
Yeah, I mean, we're always open to partner with other projects. Like you just mentioned, interoperability, and yeah, I think that's something that we always focus on in our partnerships as well. Sandbox is probably a good example of a metaverse platform that we might want to be in. And being on there means that we also would have opportunities to kind of like interface with other projects from the NFT space. In the long term, depending on how we build our game out and everything, there's always an opportunity to partner as well with some of these projects. Yeah.
All right. So when you have and how old are you right now?
I'm 30 this year. I just turned 30 like 7 days ago.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Very good. Happy birthday. December baby. As well. My birthday is on the 15th, so I'll be 31, even though I look like 10 years older than you, only 1 year. When you go to accomplish all this at 30 is not insignificant. It's very good. It's very impressive. What do you want to be remembered for? Like, what's something that you, Terence Ting, want to go and be known for in the future?
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't really thought about it. I think people talk a lot about leaving a legacy and being remembered in a positive way. I think at the end of the day, like we're just trying to do our best and also like create something that people like. And I think like having a career in this space is the best thing I could ask for. And being kind of like an entrepreneur, I understand like kind of like it's stressful on everyone, right? Like the team and everyone on. We want to grow stuff at the same time. There's also like personal work-life balance that needs to be managed. So I'd say that at the end of the day, like being able to grow something but also have a healthy lifestyle, I think that's important. Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Definitely want to carry your body, have long-term health. When you go and you talk about interoperability, what about maybe not necessarily interoperability? What about absorbing other companies? Like if you see another startup, like they have a good idea, but you think like, hey, you guys have some good ideas, it's a good talent. Would you ever absorb other companies and say like, hey, just come work with us and be part of our ecosystem?
Yeah, I mean, in the future, if and when we do scale into let's say we do manage to raise some investment soon, then that's also in our roadmap, right? If you read our roadmap, we do have some plans for raising private investments. So in the future, part of our acquisition plan could be like to acquire smaller companies or smaller projects and see how they fit into our wider ecosystem. So that's definitely something that we have explored, but we haven't made any public announcements. Yeah.
Cool. All right, good. All right, so I know you can't you can't say anything publicly yet. Where can we get the Uninterested Unicorn? Where can we get your guys your token right now? What exchanges?
Yeah, so right now, if you're talking about our utility token, UCD, it's available on Uniswap as a liquid on our liquidity pool that we created in October. So just last 2 months. So you'll be able to trade. We've created a pairing for UCD and Ethereum. So like that's about 100 worth of Ethereum in the pool right now, which is almost about 400,000 plus US dollars, based on Ethereum's rate today. So I think that's that liquidity option there for traders.
Can we stake with it?
Right now we haven't announced any staking option for UCD,
Okay.
but yeah, that could change in the future.
Okay.
Yeah, and right now the main staking option is with our if it's with our unicorn NFTs,
Mm.
where people will be able to stake our unicorn NFTs for basically to get UCD tokens. Yeah,
Okay, so they can buy the NFTs, they can stake the NFTs and get more tokens just for holding them, right?
that's right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I know you said you want to do about 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, thereabouts. It's good if you still have any questions, we can go another 5 to 10 minutes. That's fine as well.
Okay. All right. Cool. So right now we have your Twitter and the Uninterested Unicorns Twitter down below. Where can people do you have a like an Ask Me Anything, like a forum that you go answer questions on? Is it Twitter? Is it Discord? Where can people contact you?
So we also do a monthly AMA called our uni hall sessions, and this is usually done on Discord. It's usually a 1 hour per month session where we talk to the community, we kind of hear their feedback, their questions, their concerns, how we can better serve them and build the project towards towards their kind of like feedback. So yeah, that is kind of effective so far and works really well. So I would say like just come and join the Discord and hang out with us. The uni fam
Okay.
is really cool and friendly community. The regular faces in the community are really really amazing, and I would love for like Randy, like your community as well, to come and check out. And definitely you as well. Come and join our Discord. Come and check out the uni vibe. It's really cool. Even if you guys don't buy any unis, it's fine. Just come in and join and be a part of the community, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it seems fun. I see a bunch of the people in the chat here that having a good times and everything's fun. When can we expect the um well, I guess you wouldn't know when the layer 2. Do you know when Ethereum 2.0 is coming out next year at some point?
Yeah, it's not really clear. I think there's been some timelines that have been kind of like published, but it keeps getting delayed as well.
Yeah.
Because Ethereum is, yeah, I mean, it's a huge network and lots of developers are working on it. But I'm sure that long term, Ethereum is the chain to be if you're running an NFT project. And once that upgrade kicks in fully, that's where I think things will get interesting. You'll start to see more adoption. You start to see, more kind of like guest friendly consumers coming in. I think that's the main issue that people are grappling with right now. Besides the part about getting into crypto in the initial phase, but once you get in and you realize that these fees can really stack up quite a bit. Yeah.
Okay. All right, copy that. Thank you very much for coming on. I know you're extraordinarily busy. Any final comments or anything you wanna say to everyone listening or everyone that will watch this in the future as this continues to blow up?
Yeah. No, I think for me, I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me, Randy, to be part of your show and your community. I'm happy to have the chance to kind of share more about the Uninterested Unicorns project and what we're trying to accomplish. And I think if you guys like what you've heard today, come and check out the Twitter and Discord, and come and join our community and see what we're really about. Because for us, we're more than just money and crypto. I like to think that we are a project with a lot of soul, and our holders all have basically not just invested capital, but also like they feel really connected to the project, and that also keeps me motivated on a daily basis. So yeah, come and check us out.
I like unicorns. I like My Little Pony. So I like Rainbow Dash and Twilight Sparkle. So I definitely understand the and NFT in general. I like it. So it was nice for coming on. I will catch you all later. So have a good one. Thanks for coming on. All right, bye guys.
Thanks, Randy. Thanks, everyone.